kind of two things. Number one, I had a really good friend. His name is Matt, who was starting, his personal finance blog at a similar time than mine. So, having a friend who was doing something similar was very useful when I started creating content. My sort of content side hustle, I was so interested in the topic that it became motivation in and of itself, right? So I just really just loved it, and so. Kind of having a person as well as a concept or that you're really into helps. Before that, all my side hustles, I was interested in them, things like domain flipping and building WordPress websites, but I can't say that I was like super passionate. And I think for me, the thing that made it easier early on is just the desire to make money. So that was pretty motivating, for me. And then the other piece was just having a lot of irons in the fire. And I think that's one of the challenging things, with launching a side business is you want to focus, but you also don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. And so for me, I was testing a lot of things, and that kept it interesting, because uh, I personally just get bored pretty quick, and so I was trying a lot of ideas. I was going through a lot of things, and also just being around other people who are interested in making money. I think those things are pretty motivating. I also think now looking back, um, it's pretty easy to see there's just different phases to this journey. And so I think you have to understand that, the first 1 to 3 months, whenever you're starting something, is going to be kind of chaotic and crazy, and maybe the first 6 months, and just kind of going in expecting that and knowing that, um, you know, can be a bit freeing. And then the final thing on just accountability, I think oftentimes, especially when we're starting off, we're kind of overthinking things when we should be thinking a little bit more about how things make us feel, and just kind of using your intuition. And so if you're up at 11 p.m. at night and you're like, ah, gosh, I don't want to write this blog post and I really don't want to do this, traditional wisdom would be like grind it out, hustle it out, stay up late. I would tend to recommend, if you don't really feel like doing it and you're consistently not feeling like doing it, then it's not the right thing for you, because entrepreneurship is hard enough already that if you don't have the motivation, um, or kind of the consistent willpower or the early habit, listen to that and recognize that this might not be the product for you or the side hustle for you or the time for you to be doing it. Because I think there's a lot of people who just feel like I'm going to grind it out. I'm going to grind it out, when in reality they're grinding on the wrong thing. And so you don't have to be like super passionate and really like in love with what you're doing, early on. Like everything's going to require some work, but if it really is a grind and you're just dreading it and you just can't, you know, get yourself to do it, that's, listen to that and respect that, and perhaps go back to the drawing board, because it's already hard enough as it is. That if you're not excited about it, then it's just going to make it that much harder, and significantly decrease the chance that you're going to be successful. There's kind of people who grit and grin and bear it and just like push through, and sometimes they're successful just out of pure sort of momentum and force. And there's other people who are kind of just more sort of inspired and creative, and kind of naturally stumble into something that they love. But most people will kind of fall in the middle of those two things. And so um, I just say trust your gut. If it's hard to keep the accountability, um, you might be working on the wrong thing.